Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and today's Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game System explanation. We are going to be talking about throwing things and catching things, because catching is kind of important. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the talents involved in everything, and I just kind of really want to get right into this, so let's do that, shall we? When you are throwing things, we're very specifically talking about physically picking up something and throwing something. I'm not talking about shooting things, so that means no slingshots, no guns, no superpowers, no. That's a different video. This particular explanation, throwing things, whether it's throwing edge or throwing blunt. So anything, and I mean anything, throwing from a pebble to a toothpick to a bus, cement mixer, or the darn Daily Bugle. I mean, I could see that happening, but the Baxter Building, I mean, like, it's really reinforced. I have the Fantastic Four compendium. That thing is stacked to the gills, and who cares, right? Throw Galactus. Throw Galactus for all I care. The idea is throwing something physically, line of sight. Now, an adjacent area counts. You can absolutely see Bullseye flicking a toothpick at somebody's face, or Gambit doing that, 52 pickup thing with the charged energy cards, right? All of that stuff. You can absolutely throw something at someone as long as they're not actually in physical engagement with you. But if you are in the same area, then yeah, there you go. No problems. Now, you're going to have to check pages 24, 25, and 26 to see everything that there is about ranged combat, including edge thrown and blunt thrown. But on top of that, page 26 actually has the range table. Now, that will tell you how far you can throw things based on your strength. So if you've got a good 10 strength, you can throw something 2 areas away. Yeah, I know, it doesn't seem like a lot. But hey, if you're the Hulk, yeah, that just doesn't seem to stop. Look at that, 8 areas, wow. So here's the thing. When you throw something, you are going to be -1 column shift to hit for every area that it has to go. So if it's in the same area as you and you've got excellent 20 agility, boom, or at least you're rolling an excellent 20, because we're going to be talking about talents too. So if you cumulative have excellent 20 to hit with a range attack and it's within one area, you roll on the excellent column. But if it's one area away, if it actually has to travel through one entire area, that's a different story. Now you're -1 column shift to hit. If you're throwing something a full 2 areas away with your excellent strength, with your good strength, well, now you're going to be -2 column shifts to hit. That's just the way it works, man. And that's with all ranged attacks. Just heads up. So there is a talent that will nullify that, and it is the marksman talent. Okay, of all the talents, the only one that will nullify that minus to hit is marksman. So you get +1 column shift to hit with anything that uses your agility to hit. So thrown things, shooting things, rocket guided, anything where you need your agility to hit. Your distance modifier does not count. Okay, you don't have to, you can completely ignore that if you have the marksman talent. This is one of the reasons why, and it also gives you +1 to hit with those, right? One of the reasons why it costs 2 talents. So, looking at all of this, thrown blunt. Thrown blunt, you're going to get a miss, or you can get, a miss if you roll white. If you roll green, it's a hit. If you roll yellow, sorry, really quick. That should be a bullseye. Am I right or am I wrong? Thrown blunt is just another hit. Okay, but a stun if you get a red. So there is no slam, there is no bullseye, which is weird. I think you should be able to get a bullseye. But hey, you know what? You're the judge. If you're the judge, do whatever you want to do. Or if you're a player, convince your judge. Daredevil throwing his baton. I've seen him get bullseyes before. I'm just saying. So let's say you're going to use, Daredevil's baton, and you throw it just the right way. You can't get a slam using that. That I can understand. I mean, unless you're throwing a bus. In which case, why couldn't you get a slam? Again, house rule it as you will, but standard rules, no. You can, however, get a stun, and go and check out my video on slam, stuns, and kills for that. It's also in the combat chart, the combat column of my videos. But let's say you're going to throw thrown edge, for crying out loud. You're going to throw an edge weapon. Now, Your options here are with a white, miss, with a green, hit, with a yellow, stun, and with a red, kill. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Now, the thing is, again, I don't see a bullseye. I don't see why. I really don't understand why. But it is what it is. It's my opinion that if you get a yellow, you should be able to get a bullseye if you already called for it. Oh, I want to try and, throw this pen or this knife or javelin and hit his shirt, to stick it into the wall so he can't move. I don't see an issue with that. I don't see an issue with that at all. But that's just me. Either way, there are multiple ways that you can do that. First off, it should be understood that the rule book says that if you get a kill result, you cannot reduce the results itself. So if you throw, like, let's say a blunt weapon, you can reduce it so you don't get a stun on someone if you want. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you may have a reason. You want the person to be awake this entire time. You just want to hit him in the head. Hey, wake up. A stun result would nullify that. But if you get a kill result on someone with a thrown attack, that's thrown edge. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. You might not want to get that kill result, but you can't reduce the color. Okay, if you got a kill result, you got a kill result. Here's the thing: you are allowed to reduce the damage. Now, unless your judge is going to be a butthead, and again, go and check out my video on slams, stuns, and kills for more on this. But if you were to reduce the damage to 0, you technically can't really get a kill result, can you? I mean, technically, the judge could say, if they don't have any body armor, if they've got body armor and you reduce to -1 point of what their body armor is, if they've got 20 points of body armor and you bring it down to 19 points, there's no way that kill result counts. There's no way. All right? Even if you have martial arts D and A and martial arts G, make it up. All right? The idea is you can reduce that damage and then completely bypass that whole color chart to begin with. If you were to bring it down to 0 damage and they have 0 body armor, well, in that regard, that's you communicating with the judge. Judge, I don't want to do any, I'm reducing my damage to 0. I want to try and pin his shirt to the wall or his collar to the wall or something like that, okay? I'm not actually looking to do any damage to this guy. Come on. Edge attacks and shooting attacks especially, because you can't even reduce the damage. Damage is what it is, and the color result is what it is. Shooting is the most dangerous thing you could do in the Marvel Universe role-playing game, Marvel Superheroes role-playing game. Energy attacks, anything like that, you can choose to reduce so that you don't run the risk of necessarily killing someone. We're going to get into shooting one day, and that's a fun one. Anyway, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean it in a very disrespectful way. So you can try and work your way out with the judge in that regard. I'm going to choose to reduce my damage to 0. Judge, I do not want to get a kill result on this person. Come on. So that is one way that you can try and argue with your judge and say, I want to pin him. In which case it would be like a bullseye. Just saying. And maybe your judge is going to say, hey, man, if you got an excellent or above ability rank with talents and whatnot, you're golden. Okay? Now, let's also get into the idea of the talents. Now, talents are something else. Talents, let's turn to page 89. Okay? I already explained what you can do with marksman. +1 column shift to hit with any distance weapon you're going to use, where you have to use your agility to hit. And also, it will take away the range penalty. But marksman is a weapon skill. So you cannot combine marksman with thrown weapons. You simply cannot do that. A thrown weapon is characters, mind you, this is page 89. Characters with this talent toss weapons that are designed to be thrown, including spears, daggers, shuriken, discs, and snowballs at +1 column shift to their ability. So you cannot combine marksman with thrown weapon. You'll only be using marksman. It's better. Oriental weapons as well. So yes, you can use the katana, but you can also use sais and throw sais. If you know Electra, you know that sais can be thrown. But also the shuko, which is the ball with spikes on top of it. Yeah, that. The shuriken, darts. Okay, all sorts of any manner of thrown ninja-like weapons. Okay, you cannot combine that with marksman. Sorry, but there is something else you can do. Only weapons skills, weapons talents are you not allowed to combine, but you can combine anything else with one weapons talent. Namely, when you look over in the fighting skills, thrown objects. That is anything. Anything. So you can, it includes a bus, it includes a brick, it includes the Baxter building, for crying out loud, if you have the strength to lift it. So the hero with this talent gains +1 column shifts with throwing attacks, both edge and blunt, and +1 column shifts on catching. We'll be there in a moment. And this applies to both weapons and normal items. If the hero has thrown weapons talent as well, then this modification is +2 column shifts when using thrown weapons. Now, if you don't have the thrown weapons ability, it doesn't... Maybe this is one of those things, and this is going to have to be a judge's call. They specifically mentioned, the wording specifically is thrown weapons. You can combine that talent with this one. Can you combine it with oriental weapons or with marksman? It's up to you. Myself as a judge would say, yes, do it. But at the same time, I can also see as a judge, you say, I'm a yes judge, you know what I'm saying? But I can also see you as a judge saying, listen, then what's the purpose of the weapons, the thrown weapons talent for the fighting skill, or for the weapon skills? While marksman does, I believe marksman should take 2 weapon skills, it does, then what do you call it? Then what's the point? Why would, it's just going to cost 2 talents instead of the 1. Why even bother? Marksman is far superior, right? So it's up to you. You can sit there and say, nope, if you want to combine your thrown object skills, you can combine it with the thrown weapon skill to get that +2 to hit. But other than that, you're either going to use that by itself or you're going to use your marksman skill. So I can see either way that you want to go with it. That's just me. Again, I'm a yes judge. So something else that can be done, and this is important, is to look at catching, okay? +1 column shift with catching with the thrown objects. That's kind of important. That's kind of important because, you could be juggling and things like that. So when we're talking about catching is on page 28. So let me find page 28 and get right there, because catching is a huge deal. There's a lot to do with this. So I'm not going to be reading directly out of the book, but I am going to be looking at what's in here. There's a lot here. So all the way on the bottom, far left column of page 28, the catching maneuver is designed to let the hero catch falling objects and teammates, as well as catch objects that are thrown or fired at them. And it uses the agility ability to make this maneuver. So you're going to go over here and you're going to check out on your universal table. You're going to see catching somewhere. It is right here in between blocking and stun. Now, if you get an auto hit, the white is an auto hit. Auto hit means much like with other actions, you zigged when you should have zagged. Look, if someone is trying to hit you, they're going to hit you automatically, even if they missed. Okay? If someone is trying to hit you directly and they get a white result, but you're trying to catch that thing, whether it's a bullet, Bruce Leroy catches bullets with his teeth, or you're trying to catch the bus to avoid other people getting hit, or you're trying to, maybe it's a snowball or whatever it is that they're trying to throw. If they're trying to throw it at you and they miss and you're trying to catch and you get a white, so auto hit, it still hits you. Literally, you catch it with your face. Okay, or whatever body part they're going to get. Okay, the idea is that you are automatically hit. You go to try and, intercept it, or you go and try and catch it, but you get hit instead. If they're not throwing this thing at you, the exact same thing happens. But if they are trying to hit you, this is a little bit different. In this regard, I believe that you're actually -2 to catch anyways. No, Your -3 column shifts, -3, on attempts to catch objects directed against you specifically. So that's kind of important. Auto hit is an auto hit. But if, let's say they're not trying to hit you, they're trying to hit John over here, but you roll a white to catch that bullet or whatever, or that arrow, it hits you instead, okay? But if you're trying to catch something that was aimed at you, then your -3 column shifts to hit, to catch that thing. Let's say you get a regular old miss result, okay? So you get a green. Green is a green, a miss is a miss, okay? That's it. It misses you entirely. If they were aiming at you, if they were aiming at something else, it continues on its path of trajectory, either literally right past you, okay? They're trying to hit you, you go to try and catch it, you miss. It hits you anyway. If you're trying to catch something that is not aimed at you, it hits the thing that they were aiming at, if there was actually a hit. Otherwise, it misses it, and you take care of it. Go and check out ranged or shooting or whatever other video I've got. Let's say a damage result. Damage result indicates the hero caught the object, but might damage it as a result. Treat the catch as a damage-inflicting attack on the object or character being caught. So, let's say this is, again, I'm going to use the thing because I love Ben Grimm. Let's say Ben Grimm is going to go and try and catch the Human Torch as he's falling, okay? Or the Maltese Falcon, okay? Just this MacGuffin that is really expensive. That's expensive. Let's say it's one of Alicia Masters' statues that fell out of her building. He runs up to catch. He gets a break result. It is going to take damage. It's going to take damage on him. You feel free to do this as you wish, but you can look at it as this item is making a charge attack against him. So you can use either his material strength, as his body armor, material strength, or his strength, preferably whichever is lower. But in the things regard, it's going to hurt regardless. The ever-loving thing is one of the toughest SOBs out there. And let's say you get a catch result. Desire met. Okay? You catch it, no damage. You cradle it, you're golden. Okay. Now, here's the deal. When you're trying to catch things, a hero must have a certain level of agility to catch certain things. If you're trying to catch a falling character or object, like it's falling, that's pretty easy, man, because that's like, you're looking at it and it's three-dimensional. I mean, our eyes are in the front of our heads, right? So we got the 3D vision, and we can just kind of line it up and boop, yes, boom, score. Any agility works for that. If you're trying to catch something that is a thrown, so a hero must have at least remarkable agility to attempt to catch other thrown projectiles. So let's say if Bullseye or anybody is trying to throw something, then what do you call it? If it's at you, you're -3 column shift to do. But if you're trying to intercept something, then just roll your regular agility for catching using the catching results. As long as you have remarkable agility or better, you're golden. That's why the thing is not too good at catching things. You know what I'm saying? You want to catch the Human Torch who fell out of the sky because somebody shot an asbestos, talent at him. How that guy hasn't gotten asbestos poisoning yet, I'll never know. But he's a superhero. So that's what you're going to try and do. But if you're going to try and catch a long, thin projectile like an arrow or a javelin or something to that effect, you have got to have amazing agility or better. If you're going to try and catch a bullet, Bruce Leroy catching bullets with his teeth, you got to have an amazing agility an unearthly agility or better. In regards to things like super speed, just a really quick side, editor's, Professor Bill's note. Understand those air quotes. That got annoying, right? And I did it again. You can use your speed, your hyper running or your speed, your lightning, speed in place of your agility for trying to catch things. That is an option for you. All right. All of these things taken into consideration. This is thrown edge, thrown blunt, and catching. Don't forget to look up the talents and the kind of things that they can do for you. It'll help. I'm just saying, it'll help. All right, guys. Also, one of the things that I would consider is if you've got a performance ability where you're, a stuntman, or, like a stuntman should be able to catch things, not bullets necessarily, but like +1 to catching. Also, if you're a juggler, some kind, you've got some kind of performance, art with like clown or mime or something like that. Why not give an extra +1 column shift to catching items, certain items at the very least? Anyway. All that being said, guys, I'm going to end this video here. Have fun throwing things, sharp or blunt, and trying to catch them and not get auto-hit. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.
Thank you.